The discovery. The Galactic Council had ruled the stars for over 10,000 years. 47 species bowed to their might, their fleets scattered across 1,000 worlds. The Council believed they had mapped every corner of their domain, until the day Scout Commander Vex found the hidden planet. Earth sat quietly in a small arm of the galaxy, masked by ancient technology that bent light and radio waves around it. For centuries, humans had watched the alien fleets pass by, never knowing how close death had come to their world. Vex's ship, the Star Hunter, detected strange energy readings during a routine patrol. Metal signatures that shouldn't exist. Technology that felt wrong. His crew of 6 aliens ran deep scans, their instruments screaming warnings about massive artificial structures beneath the planet's surface. "Commander," said his pilot, a 4-armed being called Crix, "the readings don't make sense. This planet shows signs of a Type 3 civilization, but we only see primitive settlements on the surface." Vex studied the data with growing fear. The planet appeared to be one giant machine. Rivers of molten metal flowed through massive channels deep underground. Fusion reactors the size of mountains powered unknown systems. And everywhere the scanners detected weapons that dwarfed anything in the Council's arsenal. "Sir," whispered the communications officer, "I'm picking up a signal. It's in Old Galactic, the first language of space." The message was simple. "We know you're there." Before Vex could react, his ship's systems began shutting down one by one. Not damaged, simply turned off by an outside force. Emergency power failed. Life support stuttered. In the growing darkness of his dying ship, Vex saw lights beginning to glow across the planet's surface. Massive structures rose from hidden bays. Mountain ranges split open to reveal gun barrels that could destroy. Moons. Cities that had looked primitive suddenly showed their true nature. Camouflaged military installations connected by underground transit systems that moved faster than light. The humans had been hiding in plain sight. Captain Tom Rivers stood in the command center buried 3 miles beneath what aliens thought was a simple farming town. Around him, screens showed the paralyzed alien ship and its terrified crew. His officers, men and women who had trained their entire lives for this moment, waited for orders. "Well," Tom said quietly, "they found us." "What are your orders, sir?" asked Lieutenant Kate Bell, her hand hovering over weapons controls that could crack continents. Tom looked at the data streaming in from across Earth. Every hidden base was coming online. Every concealed weapon system was powering up. Humanity's greatest secret, that their entire planet was one massive war machine, was finally being revealed. "Send the message," Tom commanded. Across the galaxy, every council ship, every alien, military base, every government building received the same transmission. It showed Earth as it truly was, not a primitive world, but a fortress that had been preparing for war since before most alien civilizations had discovered fire. The message was delivered in the calm voice of an elderly human. "We are humanity. For 3,000 years we have watched you. We have studied you. We have prepared for you. You believed you ruled the galaxy. You were wrong. Earth is now online." Vex watched in horror as his instruments detected more hidden planets powering up across the galaxy. Dozens of worlds humanity had secretly claimed and fortified, each one bristling with weapons that made the Council's fleets look like children's toys. The humans had not just hidden one world, they had been building an empire in the shadows. As his ship drifted helplessly in space, Vex understood the truth. Humanity hadn't been discovered by the galaxy. The galaxy had been discovered by humanity, and they had been found wanting. On Earth, every mountain began to move. Every ocean revealed submerged weapons platforms. Every cloud in the sky was revealed to be a camouflaged battleship. The planet itself was waking up, and it was hungry for war. Tom Rivers looked at the star charts showing Council fleet positions. 47 alien species, thousands of worlds, millions of ships. It had taken humanity 3 millennia to prepare for this moment. "Send the fleet commanders their targets," he ordered. "It's time the galaxy learned who really rules the stars." Above, Ground, what aliens had thought was a peaceful farming world, began to transform. The wheat fields retracted into underground storage. The farmhouses folded away to reveal missile silos. The barns opened to disgorge fighters that could travel between star systems in minutes. Earth was no longer hiding. Earth was hunting. The Revelation High Admiral Zolt of the Galactic Council received the human transmission while reviewing fleet movements in his flagship Dominion. The massive vessel, 3 miles long and armed with planet-killer weapons, had never faced a real challenge in its 200-year service. That was about to change. "Sir," his aide whispered, "long-range sensors are detecting impossible readings from across the galaxy." Zolt studied the reports with growing disbelief. Hidden human installations were revealing themselves on worlds the Council had controlled for centuries. Planets they had surveyed and dismissed as uninhabitable were suddenly showing massive energy signatures. "How many?" he asked, though he dreaded the answer. 63 confirmed installations, sir. Each one appears to be militarized beyond our current capabilities." The evidence was overwhelming. While the Council had been content to rule through fear and superior technology, humanity had been playing a longer game. They had claimed dead worlds and toxic planets, then spent centuries converting them into fortress worlds. But the most terrifying revelation was still coming. On Earth, Dr. Lisa Chen stood in the Planet Control Center, surrounded by holographic displays showing every continent. She was humanity's chief weapons coordinator, the person responsible for turning an entire world into a weapon. "Status report," she commanded. "All continental defense grids are online," reported Major Jack Stone. "Oceanic platforms are surfacing. Atmospheric weapons are charged and ready." Lisa nodded, watching as Earth's true nature was finally revealed. The planet's crust was honeycombed with military installations connected by transport tubes that could move troops and supplies at incredible speeds. Every major city was built around a massive weapons platform. Every mountain contained enough firepower to sterilize solar systems, but Earth itself was just the beginning. "Dr. Chen," called out Specialist Maria Santos from the communications station, "we're receiving confirmation from the outer planets. They're all coming online." What the aliens didn't know was that humanity had been preparing not just Earth, but their entire solar system. Mars wasn't a failed colony. It was a massive weapons factory. Jupiter's moons weren't research stations. They were military bases capable of launching planet-killer missiles across the galaxy. The asteroid belt wasn't natural debris. It was a carefully arranged minefield that could destroy entire fleets. Admiral Zolt watched his screens in growing horror as more reports flooded in. Human ships were emerging from hidden bases throughout Council space. But these weren't the small, primitive vessels the Council expected. These were warships that dwarfed anything in the alien arsenal. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, voice shaking, "we're detecting a massive fleet emerging from inside our own space." The humans had been hiding their ships inside hollowed-out asteroids, disabled space stations, and even dead planets. For centuries, Council ships had passed by these hiding places, without knowing they were surrounded by humanity's secret navy. "How many ships?" Zolt demanded. We can't get an accurate count, sir. They're still emerging. But initial estimates suggest over 50,000 vessels, 50,000 warships. The entire Council fleet numbered barely 8,000 vessels, and most of those were patrol craft or cargo ships. The humans had been building a military force larger than anything the galaxy had ever seen. On Earth, Tom Rivers addressed the planet's population through every communication device simultaneously. His image appeared on screens in hidden bunkers, military bases, and civilian shelters across the world. "My fellow humans," he began, "today we reveal ourselves to the galaxy. For 3,000 years our ancestors prepared for this moment. Every generation has contributed to our readiness. Every citizen has played a part in our survival." He paused, looking directly into the camera with steel in his eyes. "The aliens who rule this galaxy believe in conquest through fear. They destroy worlds that resist them. They enslave species weaker than themselves. They have built their empire on the suffering of others. Across Earth, millions of humans listened as their planet continued its transformation around them. Agricultural zones became military staging areas. Civilian populations moved into heavily shielded underground cities. Schools and hospitals relocated to bunkers that could withstand planetary bombardment. Today, Tom continued, we show them what true strength looks like. We are not conquerors. We are not slavers. We are protectors, and we will protect this galaxy from those who would abuse it. The transformation was complete. Earth had shed its disguise and revealed itself as the ultimate fortress world. But more than that, it had become the command center for humanity's secret empire, an empire that had been growing in the shadows for millennia. The Council had thought they discovered a primitive world. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant that had been preparing for war since before their civilization began. The real battle was about to begin. The warning, the emergency session, of the Galactic Council convened on Nexus Prime, the capital world that had stood unconquered for 8,000 years. Representatives from 47 species gathered in the Great Chamber, their various forms of communication creating a cacophony of fear and rage. High Counselor Threk, eldest of the reptilian Sauran race, called for order with his massive claws. His species had ruled the Council for 3 millennia, crushing any opposition with overwhelming force. We face an unprecedented threat, Threk announced, his voice carrying across the chamber through translation devices. These humans have revealed military capabilities that challenge our supremacy. The holographic display showed recent intelligence gathered from across the galaxy. Human installations on 63 worlds, fleet strengths that rivaled the combined Council forces, weapons technology that appeared to be centuries ahead of anything the Council possessed. Impossible, hissed Ambassador Rayal of the Viperian Empire. No single species could achieve such advancement in secret. Our intelligence networks span the galaxy. Yet they did, replied Defense Minister Korg, a massive being whose species prided itself on military prowess. Our scouts report that human weapons are not just advanced, they're revolutionary. They use technologies we don't understand. The chamber erupted in arguments and accusations. Some species blamed the intelligence services. Others demanded immediate military action. A few suggested negotiation, though they were quickly shouted down. None of them understood that humanity had been listening to every word. Deep beneath Earth's surface, in a command bunker that extended 20 miles underground, Lisa Chen monitored the Council session through intercepted communications. Humanity had been secretly tapping alien networks for centuries, learning their languages, studying their weaknesses, preparing for this moment. They're planning a first strike, she reported to Tom Rivers, who stood before a massive tactical display showing the positions of every Council fleet. High Counselor Threk is convincing them that negotiation shows weakness. Tom nodded grimly. He had studied alien psychology for decades, preparing for this moment. The Council species were aggressive by nature, unable to accept that any other race could challenge their dominance. How long until their fleets can reach our outer installations? He asked. 72 hours if they move at maximum speed, replied Major Stone. But sir, they don't know about the real defenses yet. That was humanity's greatest advantage. The aliens had detected the obvious military installations, the ones humanity wanted them to find. They had no idea about the hidden weapons systems, the planet killer satellites, or the fact that Earth itself could move. Send the warning, Tom ordered. Across the galaxy, every Council military base, government building, and major population center received the transmission simultaneously. It appeared on their screens without warning, bypassing all security systems as if they didn't exist. The image showed Tom Rivers standing in what appeared to be a simple command room. Behind him, displays showed peaceful Earth scenes, forests, oceans, cities where humans went about their daily lives. Leaders of the Galactic Council, Tom began, his voice calm but carrying unmistakable authority. You are planning to attack humanity. This is your warning to reconsider. On Nexus Prime, the council chamber fell silent as the transmission continued. For 3,000 years, we have watched your empire expand through conquest and terror. We have seen you destroy species that resisted. We have witnessed your cruelty to those weaker than yourselves. We chose to remain hidden, not from fear, but from mercy. The display behind Tom changed, showing images of council military actions, planets bombed into submission, species enslaved, entire civilizations wiped out for the crime of independence. You believe strength comes from domination. We believe strength comes from protection. You rule through fear. We defend through preparedness. You destroy what you cannot control. We preserve what deserves to exist. High Counselor Threk slammed his claws against the chamber floor, creating massive gouges in the metal. Arrogant mammals. We will show them the price of defying the council. But Tom wasn't finished. If you choose war, he continued, understand what you face. Earth is not just our home, it is our weapon. Every mountain, every ocean, every cloud serves our defense. We have turned our world into something you cannot comprehend. The display showed brief glimpses of Earth's true nature. Continental, defense grids that could shatter moons, atmospheric processors that could poison entire solar systems, oceanic platforms that could generate artificial black holes. This is not a threat, Tom concluded. It is a promise. Attack us and we will show you why humanity chose to hide. Not because we were weak, but because we were too dangerous to reveal. The transmission ended, leaving the council chamber in stunned silence. He's bluffing, Threk finally declared. No single planet could possess such power. But privately, many council members were beginning to doubt. Humanity had already shown capabilities beyond their understanding. What if the humans were telling the truth? What if Earth really was a planet-sized weapon? The first strike High Counselor Threk's pride would not allow him to show weakness before the council. Despite growing concerns from his advisors, he ordered the largest military mobilization in galactic history. 3,000 warships from 12 different species converged on the outer edge of human space. We will make an example of these mammals, Threk declared from the bridge of his flagship, Eternal Dominion. Their home world will burn as a warning to any who dare challenge council authority. The massive fleet included planet killers, star destroyers, and dreadnoughts that had never faced defeat. Each ship carried enough firepower to level continents. Together, they represented the concentrated might of an empire that had ruled for millennia. They had no idea they were flying into the most sophisticated trap in galactic history. On Earth, Tom Rivers stood in the deep command center, 40 miles beneath the planet's surface. Around him, hundreds of officers monitored the approaching council fleet through sensors the aliens couldn't detect. Fleet composition analysis complete, reported intelligence officer Anna Brooks. They're bringing everything, heavy assault, ships, siege platforms, even their experimental star crackers. Good, Tom replied calmly. Let them commit fully. Lisa, what's the status of the outer defense grid? Dr. Lisa Chen checked her displays, showing defensive installations throughout the solar system. All stations report ready. Mars orbital platforms are online. Jupiter's moon bases are armed and targeted. The asteroid field is primed for activation. And Earth itself. Planetary defense systems are fully operational. Continental shields are raised. Atmospheric processors are standing by. The core weapon systems are charged and ready. What the Council fleet didn't know was that they weren't just approaching a planet. They were entering a carefully designed kill zone that extended throughout the entire solar system. Admiral Zolt commanded the fleet's advance force from his flagship. As they crossed into what they believed was the outer edge of human space, his sensors detected the first surprise. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, voice filled with confusion. "We're detecting artificial structures throughout this asteroid field. They appear to be weapons platforms." Before Zolt could respond, the asteroids began to move. What had appeared to be natural space debris revealed itself as a network of automated defense stations. each one capable of destroying a Council dreadnought. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," Zolt commanded, but it was too late. The asteroid field erupted in precisely coordinated fire. Beams of energy that could slice through any known armor struck the Council ships from every direction. Within minutes, the advance force lost a third of its vessels. "Impossible," Zolt whispered, watching his ships die. No one could build this. Many hidden platforms. But humanity had been working on this project for centuries. Every piece of space debris in their solar system had been carefully positioned and equipped. The Council fleet was fighting not just human ships, but the entire solar system itself. On Mars, Commander Jake Wilson watched the battle from his command center built inside the planet's core. "Orbital platforms. You are clear to engage." Mars revealed its secret. The entire planet was a massive weapons factory. Launch bays opened across its surface, releasing swarms of automated fighters that moved faster than anything in the Council arsenal. Each fighter was controlled by artificial intelligence that had been perfecting combat tactics for generations. "Jupiter Command, this is Mars Control," Jake reported. "We're deploying the advanced squadrons." From Jupiter's moons came humanity's heavy assault craft, ships that had been built in secret foundries deep beneath the gas giant's surface. These weren't just fighters or bombers, but vessels that could engage Council dreadnoughts on equal terms. High Counselor Threk watched the battle reports with growing rage and fear. His unstoppable fleet was being systematically destroyed by weapons that shouldn't exist. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. "Our intelligence said they were primitive." "Sir," his aide reported nervously, "we're receiving another transmission from the humans." The image showed Tom Rivers again, but this time he stood before massive displays showing the battle in real time. Council ships burning, human defenses, operating with mechanical precision, the careful choreography of humanity's military machine. "You were warned," Tom said simply. "Yet you chose to attack. Now you see the first layer of our defenses." Threk's blood ran cold at those words. "First layer? Your fleet is impressive," Tom continued, "by Council standards. But you're fighting a species that has been preparing for this war since before your empire began. You're not just fighting our ships, you're fighting our solar system." As if to demonstrate his point, the planet Earth itself began to change. The outer atmosphere began to glow as massive energy collectors came online. Continents shifted slightly, as planetary-scale weapons adjusted their aim. "This is your final warning," Tom concluded. "Withdraw now, or face what humanity has truly built." But Threk's pride would not allow retreat. "All ships, advance, target. Their home world." It was the last order he would ever give. Earth Awaken's High Counselor Threk's remaining fleet pressed forward, driven more by desperation than strategy. Half his ships were already destroyed, but his pride demanded he complete the mission. The great flagship Eternal Dominion led the charge toward Earth, its planet-killer weapons charging for a final, devastating strike. "Target their primary population centers," Threk commanded. "If we're going to die here, we'll take their species with us." It was the moment Tom Rivers had been waiting for. "All stations," Tom announced calmly. "Earth Defense Protocol 7 is now active. Show them what they're really fighting." Across the planet's surface, the final illusion fell away. Cities that had appeared normal suddenly revealed themselves as massive weapon emplacements. Central Park in New York folded back to expose a cannon barrel 3 miles wide. The pyramids of Egypt split open, revealing energy collectors that could focus stellar power into devastating beams. But these were still just the surface weapons. "Initiating planetary core systems," Lisa Chen reported from her deep command center. "Accessing geothermal conversion networks." This was humanity's greatest secret. For 3,000 years, they had been slowly modifying their planet's core, turning Earth's internal heat and magnetic field into a weapon system of unimaginable power. The planet began to glow. Molten rock channels that had been carved through the mantle began channeling Earth's internal energy upward. The entire planet's magnetic field focused into controllable beams that could reach across space to strike targets with pinpoint accuracy. Admiral Zolt, commanding what remained of the Council's advanced ships, watched his instruments in disbelief. "Sir, I'm reading energy levels that should be impossible. The planet itself it's powering up like a massive reactor." On the surface, mountains began to move. The Rocky Mountains, the Himalayas, the Andes, all revealed themselves to be carefully disguised weapon platforms. Each mountain range was actually a single massive cannon, capable of destroying entire fleets. "Oceanic systems online," reported Major Stone. "Atlantic and Pacific defense grids are ready." Earth's oceans began to drain into underground reservoirs, revealing the truth beneath. The ocean floors were covered with weapons installations, power collectors, and launch platforms for humanity's most devastating weapons. But even this wasn't the end of Earth's secrets. "Tom," Lisa said quietly, "we're receiving authorization." "Codes for the Continental Defense System," Tom nodded grimly. This was the weapon they had hoped never to use, the system that could turn Earth's continents themselves into projectiles. "Authorization confirmed," he replied. "If they want to see what Earth can really do, let's show them." The planet's tectonic plates, carefully modified over centuries, began to shift according to human design rather than natural forces. Entire continents could now be moved and repositioned to serve as massive shields or weapons platforms. High Counselor Threk watched from his flagship as Earth performed the impossible, reshaping itself in real time to optimize its defensive capabilities. North America rotated slightly to bring its hidden weapons to bear. Australia moved to block incoming fire. Antarctica revealed itself to be entirely artificial, a mobile weapons platform disguised as a continent. "This is impossible," Threk whispered. "No species could have such power." "Sir," his aide reported, "we're receiving a final transmission from the humans." Tom Rivers appeared on screen one last time, but now he stood in a command center that clearly showed Earth's true nature. Behind him, displays showed the planet's continental-scale weapons, its ocean-based defense grids, and the massive energy flows that powered the entire system. "You came here to destroy humanity," Tom said. "Instead, you've learned why we chose: to hide. Earth is not just our home. It is our guardian, our protector, our weapon, and our shield." The display showed the full scope of what humanity had built. Not just a militarized planet, but a living weapon system that could defend itself against any threat the galaxy could produce. "Your empire is built on fear and conquest," Tom continued. "Ours is built on preparation and protection. You rule through force. We defend through strength. You destroy worlds, we preserve them." Threk's flagship shuddered as Earth's continental weapons locked onto it. Energy readings showed power levels that could crack planets. "This is what you face when you threaten humanity," Tom concluded. "Not just our ships, not just our technology, but our world itself rising to defend us. Earth is online, and it will protect not just humanity, but any species that seeks freedom from your tyranny." The transmission ended, leaving Threk alone. With the terrible knowledge of what his empire now faced, Earth hung in space before him, no longer hiding its true nature. A planet that was also a weapon, a world that could reshape itself to defend against any attack. A guardian that had been waiting 3,000 years for this moment. Humanity had been discovered. Now the galaxy would learn what that really meant. The end.